An improved plan would bring power from the south and branch off the terminal line at its closest point to Oquirrh. This replaces 56 miles of 345 kilovolt line with 39 miles of 500 kilovolts. The initial cost will be about the same, but the higher voltage line will operate more efficiently. This better plan avoids crossing over the Oquirrh Mountains, which is expensive to construct and maintain. Avoiding an Oquirrh Mountain crossing makes service to Salt Lake Valley more reliable. This better plan requires 124 miles of transmission line, which is 17 miles shorter than the current plan. Shorter means less impact, less construction costs, less operating costs. The better plan uses the same substation as the current plan, but because it only splits 500 kilovolts to 345 kilovolts and does not provide local distribution, it is smaller. The better plan is a more efficient, more reliable, and a lower cost plan. And it's 17 miles shorter. As a public utility, Rocky Mountain Power has an obligation to serve the needs of northern Utah and to mitigate the impacts of its operations. Remember, the only redeeming value of a transmission line is the power it delivers. Rocky Mountain Power should mitigate all impacts to the extent it is practical. Lines routed to avoid residential areas, views, reservoirs, etc. Roads reclaimed and reseeded, and so forth. And then Rocky Mountain Power should meet its obligation to serve Tooele County and to compensate for unmitigatable impacts by providing a North Tooele Valley substation. Again, remember, the only way for a transmission line to redeem itself is to provide power. A Tooele substation is good for all of northern Utah because it will provide more efficient delivery of power to Tooele Valley. Power will be dropped at Tooele Valley on its way to Salt Lake Valley rather than being transmitted to Salt Lake first and then retransmitted back to Tooele. This will reduce line losses, saving money for all of Rocky Mountain Power's customers. It also preserves transmission capacity for the exclusive use of Salt Lake Valley. A Tooele substation is good for northern Utah because it will provide an additional 800 megawatts for the Salt Lake Valley. Currently, Tooele County draws 400 megawatts from the Salt Lake Valley. After installation of the Tooele Valley substation, Tooele Valley will be able to backfeed 400 megawatts to the Salt Lake Valley for a net positive impact of 800 megawatts. A Tooele substation is good for all of northern Utah because it will provide reliability for northern Utah as a switchyard for the second 500 kilovolt transmission line. A Tooele substation is good for northern Utah because it allows abandonment of existing inefficient power lines that are plugging up the narrow corridor at Lake Point. Once this bottleneck is cleared, a more efficient and higher capacity 500 kilovolt line can be installed to serve Salt Lake Valley. One double circuit 500 kilovolt line is equivalent to about 14 138 kilovolt lines like the two that fill this corridor now. So, a North Tooele Valley substation is good for northern Utah because it is more efficient, provides 800 megawatts to the Salt Lake Valley, provides reliability for the northern Utah grid, and allows abandonment and debottlenecking of the Lake Point corridor feeding Salt Lake Valley. The better plan can be implemented in phases like the current plan. The first phase of the better plan would bring power up from the south, which would require 80 miles of transmission line. This is 16 miles shorter than the current plan's first phase. And then install the North Tooele Valley substation. The first phase provides the following immediate benefits of the better plan. It provides more efficient delivery of power to Tooele County. It provides an additional 800 megawatts for the Salt Lake Valley. It has no mountains to cross. It is 16 miles shorter than the current plan's first phase. It allows abandonment and removal of the 138 kilovolt lines plugging the Lake Point bottleneck. The better plan's first phase has many benefits over the current plan's first phase. In summary, there is a problem that needs to be addressed. Northern Utah is on the verge of an electric power crisis. The simplest plan to solve this problem results in 83 miles of transmission line but cannot be implemented due to bottlenecks in the Cedar Valley and at Lake Point. Rocky Mountain Power currently proposes a plan that calls for 141 miles of transmission line. The first phase of that plan proposes to install 96 of 141 miles of line and will deliver 700 megawatts of power to the Salt Lake Valley. This project needs to be evaluated with a long-term perspective in mind. Using appropriate criteria, we can come up with a better plan that is 17 miles shorter, less expensive, and more efficient to operate. Rocky Mountain Power has an obligation to serve the public and mitigate its impacts. We have shown how the better plan incorporates a North Tooele Valley substation that meets this obligation with better efficiency and benefits all of northern Utah. The better plan can be implemented in phases. The first phase results in 16 fewer miles of transmission line and 100 more megawatts available to Salt Lake Valley. It also allows for debottlenecking the Lake Point corridor. We can build the current plan, but would better serve Northern Utah if we build the better plan.